Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Magic Ridge. I'm your host, Ridge. Nice to meet you. And on today's agenda, we have another Elder Dragon Highlander deck tech for you. Now, this one I have been brewing for years. I think it was just back in Dominaria. I seen they reprinted Dread Shade. I was like, oh, they're still showing a little Shade love. Maybe I should go back to that project, in which I did. And I have officially finished building Ihsan Shade, Shade Tribal EDH deck. So let's just go over Ihsan Shade real quick. So he's a 6cc commander, 3 of any color mana, and black. Legendary creature, Shade Knight. He is a 5/5 with protection from white. And his flavor text is, no mortal could atone for Ihsan's betrayal. Redemption required him to become something else. So yeah, this Shade deck, I have it pretty well tuned. I've played it a little bit. I even won a game on Commander Wars. Go check it out. I don't think the one where I won is up yet. But, yeah, Ihsan Shade, Shade Tribal. Really cool. So anyway, let's get back to some things on the deck. So, I had around $100 budget for this. I'm probably just under $100, plus cards from my collection. But in general, Shade Tribal is pretty affordable. It's pretty budget friendly. If you know what I mean. You're going to be hard-pressed to spend more than $300 on this deck. Probably. I mean, you could go crazy and put some alpha shades in there or something. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, very powerful. Very powerful. There's a few cards I'd like to get that aren't in my budget range. Like Cabal Coffers. I want to get all snow-covered swamps for the deck, but right now they're like $1 a piece. I only have like 7. So that wasn't in the budget. And also, there's some reprints coming up from Time Spiral Remastered I'd like to throw in here. So let's hope for a Damnation, or a Vesuva, or an Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. That would be very nice. But yeah, if you like this video, smash this thumbs up and subscribe for more. I've got Magic News, I've got Commander deck techs, set box openings, all sorts of good stuff coming up and on the channel already. So let's get into the deck tech. I'll be right back. Alright, let's start this deck tech. So here is the commander. We have Ihsan Shade. Like I said, 6cc, 3 of any color, black. Legendary creature, Shade Knight, 5/5, protection from white. This is the commander, and this deck, like I said, is a Shade theme deck, but it's also very powerful. So there's the commander. Cover up that eye over there, and let's get into the shades. So here's the creatures, shades, etc. from the deck. If I can get a good angle here. So we've got Nantuko Shade, doing the random shade thing. Pay a black mana. Shade gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's basically the whole deck. So we have Nantuko Shade. We have Frozen Shade. Love to get an alpha or beta one of these, that'd be cool. Looming Shade. Gateway Shade. There's the Dread Shade. Yes. We have a Deepwood Legate. You can play him for free if your opponent controls a forest, I believe. Awesome. Dungeon Shade. There's one for... that one's got flying. From Tempest. There's a Drifting Shade from M21. Also flies. Here's an Undying Evernight Shade from Avacyn Restored. We've got a Darkling Stalker, a regenerating shade from Actually, that's Tempest. So what was the other one? Strong. I think the other one was Stronghold. My bad. We have Whispering Shade. This one's got Swamp Walk. And it's pretty sick looking. Crypt Ripper Haste. Not as good. We have a Horror Shade. A little beat up. Ice Age. We got a Liliana Shade. Searches for a swamp and puts it in your hand. Undercity Shade, a little shade with fear. Alright, and that is all the shades. So, next up, we're going to go, I included a couple lands on this one. So, this is going to be the ramp package. This is what's going to give all the shades all that black mana for their +1/+1 abilities. So, we have Cabal Stronghold. Pay 3 mana, tap it, add 1 black mana for each basic swamp you control. Next, we have Myriad Landscape. You can sacrifice it to go grab 2 basic swamps. We have a Dark Ritual. We have a Charcoal Diamond. So this is all just ramp. We have Extra Planar Lens. Wish I had all them snow covereds, like I said. We have a Burnished Heart. We have Solemn Simulacrum, Sad Robot, dressed in black. We have a Cryptghast. We have a Liliana of the Dark Realms, about 1/4 of the budget of the deck. Awesome. We have Gauntlet of Power, reprint coming soon. Good, I need a second one. We have a Magus of the Coffers, more ramp. We have a Cage Sun, naming black. So they'll get +1/+1 and double tap lands. And we have Nirkana Revenant, Vampire Shade herself. Double tap your swamps. So that is the ramp. Alright. We're getting through it. Next up, we're going to go with the single target removal. So, important in all decks. This one we have Defile. Target creature gets a -1/-1 for until end of turn for each swamp you control. I've got a lot of them. We got Go for the Throat. Destroy target non-artifact creature. Cool. Good old Doomblade. Destroy non-black creature. A good old Tear, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature, can't be regenerated. We got Feed the Swarm, only black card that destroys an enchantment, I believe. Could be wrong. We've got Never and Return, destroy target creature or planeswalk or exile something from a graveyard or whatever, make a zombie. We got Murder, destroy target creature. We have Tendrils of Corruption. Deals X damage to target creature, and you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. Sweet. We have a Corrupt, which is very similar. I think it deals damage and you gain life equal to the number of swamps you control as well. I believe, something around those lines. We have Erebos' Intervention. You can choose one. Target creature gets a -X until end of turn. You gain X life. That's probably the one I'll use. Or you can exile a bunch of cards from a graveyard. We have a Consumed Spirit in the comic book version. Deals X damage to target creature or player. You gain X life. Only black mana on X. Nice. We just threw this one in there. Profane Command. Choose 2. Target player loses X life, or return target creature with current mana at cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can return one of those mana doublers. Or target creature gets -X until end of turn. So spot removal. It's in the slot that it's in. Or up to X target creatures gain fear until end of turn. That could also be relevant, I guess. Alright, and after the spot removal, we have the board wipes. So we have Mutilate. All creatures get -1/-1 for each swamp you control. You know, staying on that swamp theme. We've got Ingruk's Wake. Destroy all creatures I don't control and all planeswalkers I don't control. Nice. And then we have good old Black Sun Zenith. I kind of do this thing, like, I like to run like 3 or 4 board wipes, but lately I've been running like 3 board wipes, and usually one of them recurs itself. So like this one, you could put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, and then you can shuffle it back into your library to potentially use it once again. So that's cool. And next we have card draw in black. So we have Castle Lochthwain, or however you pronounce that, I don't know. I wasn't playing standard when this came out. So yeah, we got this bad boy, draw. We have Argyl's Bloodfast, pay 2 mana, 2 life, draw a card. If you have 5 or less life, at the beginning of your upkeep you can transform it. I believe the other side you can sacrifice a creature to gain life equal to its power, something around those lines. So that's cool. Emergency situation, pump one of my creatures extremely high, and then sacrifice it after combat or something. So there's that. We have Knight's Whisper, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Sign in Blood. Target player draws 2 cards, lose 2 life. Read the Bones, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. We have Ambition's Cost, draw 3, lose 3. We've got good old Greed, pay 2 life, draw a card. We have Dread Presence, trying this card out. Nightmare, 3/3. Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield under your control, you can draw a card and lose a life, or deal 2 damage to any target and gain 2 life. That seems pretty good. Then we have the Immortal Sun, legendary artifact, 6. Players can't activate Planeswalker loyalty abilities. If you don't know by now, I hate Planeswalkers. So, yeah, there's that. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, so now you're drawing 2 cards. Also, spells cost 1 generic less to cast, and creatures you control get +1/+1. A Lord, all sorts of things, all in one. Perfect. Next, we have a very underrated card, at least I think so. I believe this should be in every Commander deck ever made. Check out that shady guy behind this staff. So yeah, Staff of Nim, 6 CC. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw an additional card, draw 2 again. Also, you can make an elf ride the lightning or something. And then I have good old Bullish Citadel. I consider this draw, although it's a weird one for the draw, but yeah, this is a fantastic card as well. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play that card of the top card of your library anytime, paying life equals its converted mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. You can also, in some sort of weird emergency situation, sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So, I've had that win me a game in Standard before. So, but not EDH. Next up, we have kind of like the bread and butter, or whatever was left for room in the, whatever's left for space in the deck. So, I'm trying this one out. We got Victimize, so this is basically to get back some of those mana doubler creatures if they die. So we have Victimize. Then we have Dothai Embrace. I can give a creature Shadow until end of turn, essentially making it unblockable for black. We have good old Pestilence, so if I can get my opponent's life lower than mine, and then just pump a bunch of mana into this. So for 1 black mana, do 1 damage to each creature and to both players. If there are no creatures in play at the end of turn, Pestilence must be discarded. So as long as there's a creature in play, say I'm at 25, my opponents are at 21, 23. You know, if you could pump 23 mana into this, killing everybody. So that'd be cool. Next up, Whip of Erebos. I have a little side sub-theme of life gain in the deck. So Whip of Erebos, creatures you control have lifelink, and you can grab one out of your graveyard, etc. Alright, so then more power. So we have Black Blade Reforged. Little shade action stuff there too. If you know the lore on the Black Blade. Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. 3 to equip to a legendary, 7 to equip elsewhere. You'd be surprised how much mana this deck can pump out. So That's no problem. Next, we have Loxodon Warhammer. Again, sub-theme of life gain for the Bullish Citadel, etc. You just want to be ahead of everybody in life if possible. Equipped creature gets +3/+0, trample, and lifelink. Next, we have Lashrath. It's a living weapon, so you get to put a germ in a token. Awesome. It gets +1/+1 for each swamp you control, which is a bunch. You can equip for 4 life, 2 life and a black, or 2 black mana. Very cool. Next, we have Nightmare Lash. Pretty much the same thing. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each swamp you control, except you have to pay 3 life. So this is once again why there's a life gain sub-theme, so I may equip these things without so much blowback. And then we have Demonic Collusion. I think is possibly the only tutor in the deck. Trying to get a little more casual as I go along, not be as serious. So we got Demonic Collusion, 3 of any color mana, and black 5 CC. Buyback, discard 2 cards, so I can potentially play it more than once. Search your library for any card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. Next up, this one just caught me a win the other day. I don't even know what turn, but I Tormented of Hailfire for I think 24 mana. So that killed everybody in one shot. So X, black, repeat the following process X time. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. That non-land permanent really hurts people. I mean, people might be able to live if they could sack the lands, but, I mean, they're not going to win afterwards, probably, but survive the blow. And then we have good old the Sanguinate. Each opponent loses X life. You gain a life equal to life lost this way. Vampires don't consider patience a virtue, nor gluttony a sin. Yeah. And that is pretty much the deck. We've got some lands here for you. I believe I'm running 38 lands in total. We got Path of Ancestry since we're running a Shade theme deck. A little scry action. We have Thespian Stage for one day. I may get a Cabal Coffers. And this would be a great target for Cabal Coffers or vice versa. Rogue's Passage probably doesn't need to be in the deck. Gonna test it out. You can make a creature unblockable for 5 mana essentially. And then Swamp, the kind of cool thing I did here is I put all the same artwork of Swamp in the deck. And again, I think I'm running 38 lands in this deck. This deck is very powerful. It's kind of sleeper, you know. I mean, if people have played Mono Black, they know it's pretty powerful in itself because of other cards other than Shades. But yeah, very cool. Shades, very simple concept. So, you know, you're being attacked by an 8/8 or something. You block with your Shade, you pump it to a 9/9, you destroy the creature. Or you attack, it goes unblocked, you pump a bunch of mana into it. You know, dealing large amounts of damage. Whatever floats your boat. But yeah, really good deck. I would highly recommend. Very budget friendly. I think I spent just under $100 on things that I did not have. And that's pretty good since the market's pretty high right now. So yeah, definitely would recommend. Very powerful, like I said. Very cool if you're into theme decks. This is right up your alley, I would guess. Very, very cool. And until next time, take it easy.